Today we've got another presidential political shift. We're going to start in 1944 and go 80 years later to 2024. That's a lot of elections from FDR all the way to Trump's second term. For the map, there's a chapter down below in the description. But first, let's quickly get some background information. 1944 was FDR's fourth and final term. He won in a landslide, 432 electoral votes. That was from 36 states worth 53.4%. Thomas Dewey took the loss for the Republicans. He got 99 electoral votes from 12 states, and that was worth 45.9%. Then I'm not going to go over 24. We cover that almost every time. It's Trump at 312, Harris 226. Trump got the popular vote with 49.8. So let's get out of the spreadsheet. On the left, we've got the states. Then it's the 44 vote for Roosevelt, then for Dewey, then the 24 vote for Harris, then Trump, then the shifts for the Dems between those two elections, followed by the Republicans. Then all the way on the right, we've got the net swing between the two parties between the two elections. And this column has shading. The darkest colors are 10 or more, the lightest are under 5%. So let's start at Alabama. It was a totally different era in a lot of these southern states, but FDR got 81.3%. Dewey got 18.2. In 24, Harris went down to 34.1. Trump went up to 64.6. That's a huge loss of 47.2 for the Dems and a gain of 46.4 for the GOP. In total, that's a massive 93.6% swing away from the Dems and toward the Republicans. So that's how this works. Let's quickly go through the rest of these states. Arizona, also redder by 23.5. Arkansas, back up there at 70.8. California was the first blue shift. That's 6.7. Colorado was 17.8. Connecticut, 9.1. And Delaware, 5.6. It was redder in Florida at 53.7 and Georgia 65.6. Also Idaho at an even 40. Illinois got a little bluer by 7.5. Indiana was redder by 13.2 and Iowa 8.7. Kansas came in bluer at 4.9. Kentucky was redder by 39.8. Louisiana more than twice that at 83.4. Then back to the left in Maine at 11.8, and Maryland came in at 24.8. Massachusetts a little less at 19.4. Then we've got red states. It's Michigan at a mild 2.4, Minnesota 1.5. Mississippi had the biggest swing out of all the states, coming in at a massive triple-digit 110.1. Missouri still significant, but only 21.4. Montana 29.3, Nebraska 3.4, Nevada 12.3, and New Hampshire at 1.3. New Jersey was bluer at 4.6. New Mexico was redder at 1.1. New York bluer again at 7.5. Then it was redder in North Carolina at 36.6. North Dakota 28.2. Ohio 10.6. And Oklahoma 45.7. Oregon went to the left at 9.4. Then back to the right, we've got Pennsylvania at 4.4. Rhode Island 3.6. South Carolina 100.9. South Dakota 12.6. Tennessee 51, Texas 68.5, and Utah 42.2. Vermont had the biggest blue swing out of all the states at a big 45.7. Then it was redder in Virginia at 19.3, Washington bluer at 3.6, West Virginia redder at 51.7. Wisconsin had the smallest swing out of all the states, just 0.9% toward the Dems, and Wyoming is the last state that came in redder at 43.4. And there's your national popular vote swing coming in to the right at 9%. So those are all the states and all the shifts. Now let's take all this data, let's put it on a map. If we do that, here's what we've got. It's similar shading. The darkest colors are 10 or more points. The lightest are under 1% this time, so 4 levels. Only one of those is a tilt margin at under 1%. Again, that's Wisconsin. So give credit to them. They didn't budge really at all throughout 80 years. But at the top, using the modern electoral vote map, we can see that states that went toward the Republicans total 329. The Dems 199, so Republicans have the clear advantage. And as for takeaways, we've got the usual blue West Coast. Much of the Northeast is also blue, but not all of it. Exceptions are New Hampshire and Rhode Island. The Upper Great Plains and the South and a lot of the Midwest also redder. But Kansas, that's a red state, but it did come in bluer. Of course, Colorado also double digits bluer. And Minnesota this time also redder. The other Rust Belt states all went redder except for Wisconsin. Again, very little movement there. It's almost hard to imagine this time being in the present because there was so much stuff that was going on then and since. But FDR did pull off that fourth term, and it was also in a landslide. Dewey would go on to take another loss 4 years later. But 1944, that might be the farthest back we're going to go in this series. That's the same thing I did last time for 2020. That's also the first election that's older than Donald Trump, but not as old as Joe Biden. So tons of political history during this span. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about any of this data between 1944 and 2024? Which 2 or 3 states surprised you the most? Which surprised you the least? Let me know what you think down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.